But the coin that I added to the portfolio today is called vEmpire.
And they are the largest decentralized metaverse investment organization in the world.
Hello, everybody, and what a lovely day it is. Let you kick off, and I'll do some button tapping in the background. You know what comes after Roby and Qcoin? When Binance. Good afternoon, everybody, and a very interesting afternoon at that. God, who would have imagined it? FTX, third largest, well, arguably second largest in the world, completely destroying us all. Apart from those who were shorting, not to name any names, but there was somebody who was convinced the low was not in, and that somebody was right. So managed to buy back and burn almost 75,000 VEMP today from the profits that we shared with our BUSD pool and stakers there. So we actually, were short from 20,500. We've still got $250,000 of exposure hedging on the downside. So we've got, what's that, where we are now? That's a 20% stop to our entry, so that will be covering us against any downside that we can always use to buy back and burn more VEMP should the market not be on our side. So but yeah, getting away from the bullish news because of bearish news, we have DoinGud, which is what I'm wishing for the market to do, and we have Manu and Sam with us. Those from the whole community may be familiar with this protocol. I believe it was at least one or two of their past proposals. So excited to chat to them.
Hey there, how you doing, Dom?
Very good. Yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so very much for having myself, having Manu of DoinGud here. Really excited to have this opportunity to share with you guys a little bit about what we've been up to and what's been happening in our world. I've had the privilege of getting to work with these guys over the last year. I'm part of the founding team, was also one of the core organizers of ETH Barcelona with Manu, and have had some incredible times kind of building this thesis and ethos of what DoinGud really could potentially be for the greater society and utilizing Web3.
Good stuff. I was at ETH Barcelona, so I might have seen you without knowing. There we go. Yes, we've got a lack of hair versus almost too much of it.
Manu's he's taking care of the hair front for us both, it seems.
And he looks like he is concentrating intently at something.
How are you, Manu?
I don't know. Can you hear us?
I think, well, he's in Colombia right now. I think he's in San Andres in Colombia. So like right after DevCon, many of the DoinGud team was present at DevCon. And in fact, they co-hosted with Mochi an ETH Medellin event, the closing party for ETH Medellin. So he's still in Colombia right now. I think he might be having some issues with the internet.
Or you could say his Wi-Fi is not doing good.
This is accurate, actually, sir. So Dom, how's everything going on your guys' side? We're so stoked to have you guys as part of our members, of the DoinGud tribe. Super excited. You mentioned that you also were at ETH Barcelona. I mean, I'm rocking right now the ETH Barcelona shirt, keeping it real. And just super excited to just get, like I said earlier, get this opportunity to chat with you guys a little bit about what's been going on our side and what it all really means for vEmpire as well.
Yeah, we're doing well. I mean, you might have heard on the little intro there. Luckily, I'm quite the bear, so I've got a lot of hedges which have been doing well. Luckily, so yeah, very good. Very good for vEmpire. We've got so much. It's annoying with bear markets that everybody panics and retail like sort of moves out of the market, there's less eyes, and obviously, human emotions are what control the price of anything. Whether there's buyers and sellers. So definitely doesn't reflect the value. We are doing better than ever, and I'm more bullish than ever. But yeah, it's a shame that it's trying to instill confidence in the market. But yeah, no, very excited to have you guys on as well.
Totally. And as you mentioned earlier, crazy day in the crypto Web3 space yesterday with just all sorts of news. But I mean, I hope, I've had the opportunity to be in this space since late 2016. I've seen the ups and downs, and it's this last couple of days have been very interesting to say the least.
Definitely. Tell you what, I've noticed. I was commenting on it to, I can't remember who I was commenting it on, but it seems that handlebar mustaches are all the rage in America now. Yours isn't a handlebar necessarily, but it is a new trend, isn't it?
So I'll be candid with you. You and I have the same kind of haircut. I have not had any facial hair. What were you going to say? What were you going to say?
I was about to say, I don't know if it counts as a haircut.
Lack of hair.
Mine isn't a style. Unfortunately.
So I've been bald for quite some time, and I've actually not had any facial hair ever until the pandemic. And so, of course, we got bored during the pandemic, and I think it was actually my girlfriend that was just kind of like, do a mustache, let's do it. And so I did a mustache during the pandemic, and I kept it for quite some time. It was almost like an 8-month thing, and then one day was just like, all right, I'm good. And it's not been back since. And so it's like Movember kind of thing, mental health awareness. Let's do it. Let's go for it. At least I knew that I could kind of have a mustache. So I went for it. And the lady likes it. So that's actually
there's no way that is only 9 days though. You started that up early.
I started up a little early. I had the beard going, and then right when November 1st hit, shaved it off.
I was gonna say, Christ, the amount of testosterone that must be pumping through your veins otherwise. But yeah, we should move on and ask you a few questions about the project before we trade tips on pulling off the perfect bald look.
I love it, man. Thank you.
So what is sort of, you already mentioned about when you sort of started out in crypto, but what is your position and role at DoinGud, and sort of general background to both the project and yourself?
Sure. So I'll kind of go from myself and going into how I got teamed up with DoinGud. My time in crypto started off actually with a few friends that I met during a time in my life where I was doing real estate. And it was late 2016, 2017 hit. I spent most of the time, I spent 7 months reading and understanding like the Bitcoin white paper. And so some of these friends that I mentioned from real estate, we got together. I'm in Venice, California. So we got together and purchased about 50 acres of land in Mojave, California, which is about an hour and a half north of Los Angeles. And we set up a 20 megawatt solar farm to be able to utilize all of that energy to mine Bitcoin, utilizing only renewable energies. And so this project was a project that kind of went through into 2019. I spent 3 years speaking at conferences about the narrative about energy consumption and how, in my opinion, and based on what we were building, Bitcoin incentivizes the use of renewable energies. It incentivizes the use or the innovation in renewable energies because of this energy intensive mechanism that was introduced over 13 years ago. So I did that for quite some time. And in 2020, late 2020, I got into the NFT space. I met during my time with the mine, I met a young lady by the name of Mel Vera in Toronto, Canada at the Futurist Conference, who also worked with DoinGud. And she's like, man, I love everything that you're doing with the solar farm. And, you're doing things in the right way. And I'm like, that's exciting. And thank you so much for that. And she was mentioning something that she was working on with DoinGud. And it was kind of, and I think it was at the very beginnings with what they were doing at DoinGud. I think they were just at the very beginnings with what was called Fight Pandemics. This is something that Manu started with Andrew Klein and several of the same community members and team members that are actually part of Doing Good today, many of which have been kind of ongoing for like, 2+ years. Doing Good in itself has actually only been live to the public for about a year now. It'll be a year during Art Basel Miami is when we launched our marketplace.
Where do I know the name Andrew Klein from? Maybe it's from
our channel. He's one of the co-founders of Doing Good. He's Manu's,
yeah, I just recognize that
right?
name. Couldn't think of where from, but yeah, no. Do go on.
Yeah. And so anyways, we Mel and I connected during the Futures conference, and it wasn't until like I would say like 6-7 months later after that, where I started kind of really digging deeper into what Doing Good was up to. And it was funny because when I first met with Andrew and Manu, similar to this, I was explaining to them, I'm like, man, I really thought about a really cool idea, or like an app where you can incentivize people to do good, and like pay them with like a crypto of sorts or whatever, and like, prove that you're doing these good deeds. It was actually like a good deed app. And they're like, well, funny enough, this is a lot of what we're working towards. And so nonetheless, over the last year, I've had the privilege of just getting to build with these guys and create. So I'm part of the community team, communications team. They would also call me like a vibes coordinator. I've been, like I said, involved with the overarching development of what is ETH Barcelona, or what was ETH Barcelona, with the team. And then also keeping in mind that like we're just growing and learning from everybody that's had the opportunity to build with us over the last year. We've met so many incredible humans and projects and brands and protocols since we've been live, and have just had this wonderful, like feeling of like, okay, all these individuals that are involved or we've crossed paths with, we now have an opportunity to kind of do something much more meaningful. And that being said, just months ago, we or not even months ago, I would say a month and like a couple of weeks, we launched our manifesto. And that manifesto was something that was put together by the entire group, a massive team. We've got like 12 individuals in our team, and everybody kind of contributed to making this manifesto come to life. And what the manifesto is kind of like our attempt to really put pen to paper and, as clearly as possible, talk a bit about what is Doing Good, why we're doing what we're doing, what the whole process or thought process of like bringing all these different pieces of the puzzle that are everybody that's we and you, Dom, this as well, like there's so many incredible minds building this space. How can we get these people to talk to each other, to build with one another, to like effectively utilize all their talents and resources to work towards a better good? And in this light, we're talking about, doing good and changing a little bit of that narrative of what it means to do good. Look, ETH Barcelona, as you know, was a plastic-free event. It was a bring your own bottle, bring your own cup event. The entire event was also sustainable in the context of the materials used for the event and putting on the event. We also did invest in carbon removal, not carbon offsetting. We worked with Toucan Protocol on this, and the point of all of this is to like, why I'm bringing this up is because we started this with intention, and we wanted to lead by example in hopes that we could show the greater community that outside of the meme projects and PFPs and so on and so forth, there's a lot going on here from the public good, social good, DAO side, NFTs for good, and just incredible talents that are effectively trying to change the narrative of how humanity works, and making it a little bit more quote unquote profitable for this thoughts of doing good or being sustainable, and changing again that narrative.
Yeah, I think there's definitely one thing that I've learned about about DAOs and about good intentions is that sometimes good intentions are arguable. and I just have to say, before crypto, I wouldn't believe the amount of like things that could be up for debate, especially in the DAO space. Obviously, doing good is doing good as a action, not the protocol. I'm saying is wide, and like with anything in terms of even nowadays with climate, for example, there's a lot of arguments back and forth about investing into oil with the current energy crisis, stuff like that. So I guess, what is the focus in terms of the broad spectrum of, I know it's saying what's like what's the focus of doing good? Obviously, it seems like it should be so easy, but is there any like particular area that you guys are focusing on, or are you doing like seasons or anything like that? What's the plan?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, Doing Good first kind of like initiated as this project called Fight Pandemics, and Manu and team kind of brought this to life and realized that during this time of trouble, creators, and by the way, you, Dom, myself, the librarian, the teacher, anyone in the planet, anyone that's alive, we're creators. We all create something. We create moments, we create products, we create roads, we create buildings, we create brands, we create music, whatever it may be. So we figured that like during this time of trouble, creators were really the arbiters of wanting to help each other out and start changing, like I said, like, oh, wow, we can utilize, it's not just about monetary capital, but also like human capital, social capital, all of these different components that would effectively result in a net positive thing. So let's fast forward. They basically were able to do what they did with Five Pandemics for free, meaning they did not raise one single dollar. They built the whole website. The website's still live today. They were able to garner a beautiful community and be able to kind of use this as the precipice of what Doing Good is today. So Doing Good effectively started as a marketplace, which you can see today at DoinGud, DoinGud.com. And that marketplace is enabling creators to connect with collectors and social impact organizations. And you're now able to upload whatever creation, whether that be a video, a GIF, a written poetry, obviously digital artworks, whatever creation that one may want to have or put up, and utilize the protocol to be able to stream funds to the social impact organizations that they care most about. Minimum of 5%, upwards of 100% of that sale would go to that social impact organization of the creator's choosing. Now, you asked what topics those may be, or what does it mean to be doing good? Currently, we have over 60 nonprofits and social impact organizations that have come online to Doing Good's registry, all based on the 17 Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. So right now, you have a pretty nice wide range of different social impact organizations that one may want to participate and engage and stream some funds towards. But in the very near future, as we open up this protocol and this DAO, we realize that sometimes creators and people don't really know what are the best social impact organizations. Who should we be streaming funds to? Why should we be streaming those funds to these people? So we realize that there's an opportunity with the DAO that we have guilds or sub DAOs that would work underneath our meta DAO, the Doing Good DAO. And we figured that all of these, Manu.
Have we got you?
Hello, guys. Sorry for interrupting.
Got you. That's all right. And you're smiling. When you last came on, the thing was frozen. You looked so angry. Good to have you. I think. We've lost your audio.
I think you're on mute. No.
Oh, click mute. I think it was talking when you were on mute and not when you were. No audio at the moment. Try again. Join back in. All right, third time lucky.
Saying,
can't remember where you were. hopefully you do.
Yeah, no. So basically, you know, now that we've got this opportunity upon us, where, as I said, we've been live for a year, and it takes, and you know this, Dom, like it takes quite some time to kind of try and do this right. And what is right, we don't know quite yet. We're still, everyone's kind of throwing things at the wall and hoping that things stick. We see examples of DAOs, we see examples of other projects that are doing things great. But, you know, we're all effectively learning, and we're all trying to make things better, and utilizing each other's resources and thoughts and time and the space to get there. But that being said, you know, with us having these guilds or these sub DAOs, it now enables everybody to have a broader stroke over these different social impact organizations, whether that be zero poverty, you know, hunger, disaster relief, whatever these subcategories or guilds may be. That, by the way, vEmpire could go ahead and say, cool, we want to run our own initiative under a sub DAO, and that sub DAO is going to, you know, focus on beach cleanup and only beach cleanup as an example. And so you guys will run proposals for beach cleanup, and vEmpire could run, you know, spearhead that initiative as an example. But nonetheless, you know, we're trying to just change the narrative, as I said, is like, I mean, I'm 35 years old. As far as I understand, every single time that doing good is brought up, and I don't mean, again, as in like our protocol or our brand or our marketplace, but doing good as a whole is like meant to be donation, or meant to be charitable, or meant to be not for profit. Yet, what is one of the most profiting, you know, industries in the planet happens to be the military-industrial war complex. So what is that? It's a giant fear and sadly, it's a war machine. It's fear and war machine. So what is the equivalent of the military-industrial war complex, but for good? And if it exists, why isn't it louder? You know what I'm saying? This idea of doing good and not being able to be profitable. And again, profit, I'm not speaking on money, because we think of profit as only as money, but we don't seem to realize that, like, me having this opportunity to speak with you, Dom, and maybe also educate myself on what you're doing and how our minds can come together, also can create some form of profit, social profit, human capital, et cetera, all the things that kind of mentioned earlier. So yeah, we're of that kind of mindset, and really trying to, and as I said, trying to bring the different pieces of the puzzle together, of the different communities, the different protocols, the different brands that we've met along the way, to kind of, at this present moment, curate what is the precipice of our community members. And right now we have a little bit over 40 of you guys, which is pretty incredible.
I think I know the reason they're not louder is because usually they're too busy fighting each other. Tends to happen when people care too much, and it sometimes gets in the way. But that's always happened whenever it's been. I think it's because of the way that those who have the empathy and compassion have a similar mindset, and it's why people say about left wing being infighting, if that's a way to do it. But the sub DAO method obviously is a way that very much can promote coexistence, and allow people their room to, you know, I don't want to say ideology, well, actually ideology, because it's not, it just has bad connotations. It's not actually a bad thing. But people to have their own sort of ideology within that sub DAO as part of a overall method of how they believe that they are contributing to a greater good, and doing their own good. Oh, that actually, what you said reminded me. I'm glad that I remembered this, because I was thinking, remember to say that at the end. I actually wrote a white paper. I think it was like, actually, no, I started a white paper, but I made like a full graphic of it, of a protocol called social change. And the change was like a little like coin thing. And it was in a similar sort of way of contributing, where it was like a DeFi protocol yield aggregator, which had a certain percentage of like overall earnings contributed back to an individual project based on like a staking pool. I'll send you the graphic of it. I've probably still got it knocking around somewhere.
Man, please, I would love that. I mean, and that's the thing is like, I didn't know exactly what you're talking about is like these ideas that I'm somehow I would like to hope that many people, most people, I would like to, because I'm of the believer that people are good people. Just things around us kind of help shape that narrative that we are living, and whether that be news or the people we were surround ourselves with or whatever. But I'd like to think that we're good people. We are good people inherently, and like how I mentioned, like this idea of this Doing Good app. Before I even knew and had the opportunity to meet and chat with Manu and Andrew, like this is kind of how things kind of spark. And so, yes, please send it on over. Would love to see it. We would love to see it. And I think Manu's he seems to be back, I think, or in the backstage, or not anymore.
Not sure.
Oh, there he is.
I'm here. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Champion status.
Finally.
There we go.
I was hearing Dom just now, and one of the things that we've been thinking, Dom, quite a lot is how we can leverage capital geopools as well. So imagine that you have some money locked on Aave or on Compound or whatever, let's say sort of DeFi, and you're making 10% per year. And that from that 10% per year that you're making, maybe you decide to give 50%, so 5%, let's say, to these different social causes and so on. So it's very, very aligned with the way that you were thinking at that time.
That's very similar to what I had. I'm going to, I don't know if I've got my old laptop behind me and it might be on that. But I'm just typing in to see if I sent over the actual thing, to see if I got the image of it. It would have been from ages ago because I can't find it, but I'll focus. I'll try and dig it out later because it's very much. It's not quite a lending protocol. I'd say it's more of a like built around and on top of like Curve, like a Yearn or Convex.
Oh wow!
With the with the percentages split towards like sort of an application that's allows people to like factory build pools around their own cores. But yeah, I'll dig it out. It's very, very, very old. I forgot about it, to be honest. One of my many.
Share it, man. Share it with us. We'd love to check it out. Watch all of a sudden once the protocol launches and the DAO, this exact initiative starts going underneath the vEmpire guild. It's going to be great.
Exactly. And then I, can finally build it. So many ideas that I have that just like, honestly, the team is always so stretched and we've always got so many different things going on. But yeah, eventually we'll, find time for them all. You mentioned about the manifesto that you guys have got. Can you give a brief overview of like what that is? You're getting like signatories for that. What are people signing up for?
Well, I've been talking for a solid 28 minutes. Manu, if you want to, by all means, if you want to explain, but kind of like before Manu kicks it off here, as I mentioned, this was a culmination of the team's kind of like effort to put pen to paper and really lay out what the thesis is of Doing Good, and not just the thesis, but like what's kind of happening right now, where we think we can go, and how we intend to do this. And so for like the last month and a half, not even month and a couple weeks, or month and a week, we've had this manifesto live, and it's already garnered just under 17,000 signatures, so 16,800 signatures or so, unique wallets. And out of that, if you did sign, if you read it and you signed it and it resonated with you, there was a really neat mechanism that when you retweeted that you signed this, we at Doing Good gifted you a little gift, and it kind of acted as a nice souvenir to kind of signal that you did this, and now I can see that Dom is part of our good tribe. But nonetheless, Manu, take it away and talk a little bit about what this bad boy, bad girl is, this manifesto.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you so much, Sammy. So yeah, the manifesto, as Sammy said, it was a combination of ideas from different team members. In the manifesto, we first talked about our fears and about how things are going so wrong in the current world that we live in. And then we also talk about, how basically governments are continuing to use GDP as a form of measuring success within economies or within nation states. And, it's not taking into consideration the well-being of the citizens. It's not taking into consideration the environment. It's not taking into consideration many things around us that we think are very, very important. Also, at the same time, humans, we are also like feeling very disempowered because basically, if we express ourselves, we're not being heard by anyone, and there's no like a way for us, let's say, community members to come together and actually create some possible change within our ecosystems, because they are basically running on the traditional system, and it's just very hard for us to have a voice and a say into let's say the current traditional governance systems. Also another thing that we talk about is how these problems that we have in the traditional world are also coming into the digital world. We saw, let's say, for example, Facebook and Google, and basically all of these Web2 companies, they are behaving very similar as let's say colonies or not colonies, colonialists. I'm sorry. And basically colonizing new places and wiping out different, let's say, players in the space, and basically becoming kind of like the monopoly. I think they're kind of like the monopoly right now. And also in the Web3 space, we're seeing also similar behaviors as well, and that is kind of like for us. And basically we're expressing all of those problems that we're seeing, but also we're expressing in this manifesto that we also are optimistic, because we see that there's like a lot of communities that really want to do good, that really want to work towards decentralization, towards, let's say, the way of having people to communicate without being censored. Also, there's like different communities that are working towards finding different funding mechanisms to communities and so on. And for that reason, we're super optimistic. And also another thing that Sammy said is that while we were building 5 pandemics before, we saw that many people behind nonprofits and NGOs are actually artists and creators. And for us, it's kind of weird that currently it doesn't exist a connection between the creator economy and the giving economy or the altruistic economy. And that's why we believe that, every expression of human creativity can build a better world, is because whether you publish a video, let's say a song, an animation, or any form of media, imagine that media can actually create impact. We all remember what happened with the Black Lives Matter movement, that a lot of people were putting a black picture on Instagram, and that's a form of creating value that goes beyond the monetary value. That was creating awareness about the that people were seeing during that time, and that is a form of, let's say, a form of expression from people, and that I believe that helps create a better world by creating first awareness, and then obviously creating the channels for funding these different causes. Also, one thing that we say very often is that, many teams in the Web3 space and also in the Web2 space as well, they're building different pieces of the puzzle that can be used with the intention of doing good for humanity. And now it's time that we bring all of those pieces of the puzzle together. As you say, Dom, you had an idea a couple of years ago on how to fund all of these different social causes and so on. And now, like, it's time that we create let's say, a space where we can bring all of those ideas and have all of these different teams that are working towards the goal of decentralization and so on, to be able to collaborate and to be able to create more tools that also will benefit humanity in one way or another. And yeah, the idea of this manifesto, as Sammy said, is basically to signal that you want to be part of this community. And also, as Sammy said, after you tweet that you have signed the manifesto, you receive an NFT, which is what we call the portal NFT, or like the very beginning of this journey of doing good. And yeah, there's more to come afterwards. But yeah, that's a little bit about the manifesto.
Good stuff. Very interesting. And in terms of the decentralization, I guess, are you guys, like, as in, do you as a team centrally plan on doing more development of the protocol, or is that all being left down to like the community to build on top of it, or is there like a roadmap or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a really good question, Dom. Actually, the protocol is being built at the moment, and right now it's being audited. Like, we have already developed, let's say, an initial protocol that we're going to be revealing later on, after we have, let's say, all the code reviewed and so on. We're going to be unveiling that to the community after we launch the NFT non-transferable membership, which is going to happen within the next 2 weeks, more or less. But yeah, the protocol, let's say, on its own is going to be released and shown to the public. But yeah, the idea is that the community itself can also have more parts of the modular, and that other, let's say, pieces of the puzzle can be brought in and also work together within the protocol.
Good stuff. And will it be fully automated? As in, I remember seeing a talk actually at East Barcelona. I can't remember who it was by, but someone was saying like about decentralization, and that you don't need to. Everybody thinks that you need to like start literally at the goal rather than building towards it. So, what is the plan with that? Is there a certain like level that you're looking to get to, or is it going to be fully automated from the get-go? What's the plan, sort of DAO wise and autonomous wise?
Yeah, the idea is to basically put it out there, put it to the world, and then when we put it to the world, receive, let's say, feedback before we release it, and make it, let's say, really live. And yeah, that's kind of like the idea, is that it becomes completely automated, and that doesn't require any human intervention for it to work. That's kind of like the main goal. Like, we are very inspired by other protocols like Colt and protocols that basically are unstoppable, and we also want to go towards that route.
Good stuff. Yeah, I think it's always good to have a certain level of automation. I mean, yeah, it's very protocol dependent on what can be achieved. For example, with vEmpire and VEMP, we can decentralize certain aspects of it, but you can't build you could build a bot that invested into metaverse property, but I can't imagine it would pick them very well, or it would be very, very limited in terms of its scope or anything like that. So there's always going to be a certain level of trust. It's just about what can be automated within the scope of actually, at the end of the day, creating arts and everything like that is something very, very human. So to try and automate every aspect of everything, defeats the whole process of, I guess, what you guys are trying to achieve in terms of giving that power. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, also it's important to mention that what Sammy said before, like currently we have within the token curated registry of social causes, we have 60 organizations, and they've been manually, let's say, onboarded by the DoinGud team. ideally, this process will be done by the DAO, and the DAO can onboard or kick out any social cause that we believe is not really doing what they say that they're supposed to be doing. So, for example, let's say, many people talk really bad about the Red Cross, but we don't really know if the Red Cross is really doing their job properly or not. But what if we are able to see when the money comes in to the Red Cross, we're able to see how the money has been actually handled by the Red Cross, where it has been put, and actually if has generated impact or not. So the way that we're thinking about it is that there's always humans needed in these sort of things, because you need, let's say, to verify that actually impact has been made, and there's no oracle for that, so there's still the need of having humans, and the oracle is going basically to be what we call impact reporters, and those impact reporters are essentially journalists, community members, or anyone, and they can submit proofs that they actually have done the job that they said that they were going to be doing. And then DAO members can curate and basically decide what are those different reports that actually are valuable, and also incentivize those that are reporting and those that are creating, let's say, some sort of way for the community to see that the impact was actually being done.
Good stuff.
And
Go on.
And to Dominic, I think that's kind of to tie in everything that you also asked us, like what form of good is it that we're trying to achieve here? It's like, look, as I said earlier, I think humans are actually like inherently good, and we want to keep doing good. But like most of the time, we've gotten sideswiped by what it actually means to donate or to be charitable, because like we don't know what happens. We don't know if there is impact being made. We've seen that people do good, and they do so because they want a vanity stamp of sorts, or maybe an article written about them. And then maybe we find out that those individuals or parties or brands didn't actually fund what they said that they were going to be funding. And so this kind of level of checks and balances that then the overarching community is able to enable for the DAO, and having this kind of like, okay, recording happening saying, okay, initiative XYZ by vEmpire is started, and now we have journalists and photographers and people that are contributing to the proof, if you will, and showcasing that, okay, these things did happen. The beach cleanup did happen. Here's people. There's 25 people that were meant to be at that beach cleanup. There was 50 people that were at the beach cleanup. You know what I'm saying? Take shots, upload it onto the blockchain. There was however many tons or pounds of plastic removed from the beach. Great. There's the proof of it. Uploaded on the blockchain. And so those individuals, both the recorders and the initiators, are then getting that reciprocal kind of like checks and balances, if you will.
Yeah, and also another thing that is important to mention is that currently in the Web3 space, everyone is focusing on decentralized governance. But if you think about governance in general in the traditional system, governance is not just governance on its own. It has other components, which are media, for example. We think that media is really important in governance. And yeah, basically we're going to enable also anyone that wants to create media also to participate and basically provide proofs to the DAO. And like that, the DAO will be able to make better decisions as well. So yeah, we think that media is key for having, let's say, good governance.
What is a good soul?
So a good soul is basically member of the Doing Good community, and they're going to have a non-transferable membership. And yeah, basically they're going to be also be bootstrapping the Doing Good DAO.
Good stuff. To the audience, anyone with any questions, there are some already in there, but please do ask, because it always happens at the very end when I'm wrapping up. I'm halfway through it, and then somebody asks something else. So do post them now. And Jeff, I'm actually quite upset with Jeff, because he said Sam and Manu are the best examples of human beings, which is nice. But what about me? Just Sam and Manu there.
Dom, you're here with us, my friend. So that means that like this is an inherent thing, right? Like you initiated this conversation, so you're actually the one that's an arbiter of good examples, right?
Fair enough. At least somebody's trying to make me feel better, I guess.
Jeff's also kind of the man too, though.
It's just because you've got the same hair as him.
We have the same hair.
I don't know. Mine's got a bit of like coming through. I was meaning to shave this before I came on, but yeah, fair enough. At least the more time I spend, then
we didn't get the beautified Dom. We got the D-Gen Dom today.
Yeah, and you might not be able to tell, but I was at Salon Breakpoint, and both me and my two colleagues who stayed on for it, we got COVID. So right now I do have COVID, but still here. See, still here trying to do good.
Crushing the game, my friend.
Let's go. I hope you get better.
Yeah, we had. So, what is the most successful SDG you are currently working towards? Is that DoinGud? Is that a sub DAO SDG?
Yeah. So, Sammy, I saw that you unmuted yourself.
No, I was just gonna say the SDG is just part of the UN Sustainable Development Goals SDG. And so what I was mentioning before is like at the beginning of with DoinGud, once we launched the marketplace, it was predominantly revolvent around the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. But since then, it's opened up. Manu, go ahead.
Yeah, so I think like the SDG that has been receiving the most support has been climate action. And yeah, there's one specific social cause who's been receiving a lot of support, which is the Open Earth. The Open Earth Foundation was actually the first recipient of donations that actually receive on DoinGud. We had Paul Nicklin. Paul Nicklin is like the top National Geographic photographer, and Christina Mittermeier, also one of the top National Geographic photographers. They released a couple of pictures on DoinGud, and they donated 100% to the Open Foundation. And those are beautiful pictures. Sadly, I'm not able to share my screen here. I'm on my phone, but I'm gonna share with you guys. Maybe some of you might be able to share the link. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, the Open Earth Foundation, I think, has been receiving the most support from creators until now. And also there's another one that is called IRL, which also is part of the DoinGud membership as well. And IRL is a nonprofit in Denver, I believe, and they're uplifting a lot of creators, and they also have been receiving a lot of support.
Rugged.
Oh no!
So I know IRL. I'm on the Cult Guardians if I remember.
Am I wrong again?
You're back.
Okay, yeah, exactly that. The same IRL that you just mentioned. Yeah, they've been also receiving a lot of support on DoinGud. Here I just posted on our chat. Maybe if any of you can share. Yeah, this is one of the creations from Paul Nicklin, and also I'm gonna share the one from Christina Mittermeier as well, which was, beautiful pictures of whales. And yeah, all of this, they donated 100% of all of these sales to the Open Earth Foundation.
Here we go. I'm able to share the screen. 1 second.
We also got a question, Manu, that I saw come through. How big are the DoinGud team, and what is the majority of the team working towards?
There's a whale bone, towering tusks.
Yeah, that one was the one from Paul Nicklin, and yeah, that specific creation, I think it was sold for over $15,000, if I'm not mistaken. And the same as the one from Christina Mittermeier, I think it was sold for $15,000, and they donated 100% to the Open Earth Foundation. Coming back to the question, yeah, sorry, go on, Dom.
No, I was just saying narwhals, aren't they? They're like unicorn whales, narwhals.
Unicorn whale, baby.
Exactly.
Yeah. And yeah, what I wanted to say regarding the team, currently we're around 25 team members, and yeah, we're working. Many of the team members are working towards different things. Some are working towards creating more community memberships and bringing more communities on board to the initial doing good, let's say, curation of organizations that want to do good. And then we have also a group of people that are working towards onboarding nonprofits, onboarding NGOs, and so on. And then we also have, obviously, a group.
Engineers, we have.
Oops. I think I'm back. So yeah, we have a group of engineers, and also we're working together with a group called Daoism System, which themselves, they already also have a group of engineers, and we're basically working together on the development of the protocol. Also, we're working with people from QuantStamp. They're basically doing all the audits, and also we're working with HATS Finance, who are also helping us with audits. And yeah, also we have a group of people internally that are working in basically developing the protocol and developing as well more tools for the NFT platform itself. And yeah, that's basically what we have.
Good stuff. Thank you, Mad Cultish, for the comment. I appreciate that after I was struck down by Jeff. But yeah, no, that's been really interesting. Any of my team that are watching, please do remind me to post in Social Change, that DeFi protocol I mentioned, and I'm going to dig into my old laptop or my emails and see if I sent it to myself, because I remember specifically making a diagram. Love a good diagram.
Dom, you got to share that with us, man. I'm telling you, this is going to be super valuable for the guilds. I think this would be a really cool thing to try and experiment and come to life.
I will. I'll be able to find it. I just need to, boot up the old laptop. But yeah, no, thanks so much. That was really interesting. And make sure you're tagging us in our Telegram chat, because we're always flat out with the team, but we certainly do very much want to be involved, as much as possible. We're just always end up being like busy. Everyone's always trying to do good. Sorry, but there's too many. You don't give an Englishman any puns. It's a recipe for disaster. But thanks so much for joining. Certainly, learned a lot. And yeah. Any questions anybody thinks of, feel free to post them in the comments. I'm sure the guys will get back and answer, but you can jump into all of our socials and ask. DoinGud website is DoinGud.com. But thanks so much for joining, guys. And speak to you in the chat when I dig out this diagram.
Thank you so much, Dom, for hosting us.
Thank you, Dom. Thanks, vEmpire. Take care, guys.